And we're at day 27 of 50 days of fitness. And so I did go back. I did get out 4 sets yesterday with the new regimen. We had to bump it up Sunday, so we changed things a little bit. And I did measure it, and it was less, which is what I expected. It's between, I didn't have the exact, but it's between 5 and 6 minutes now. So probably about a minute less, maybe even a minute and a half. So, and earned my first cup of coffee for the day. So now it's kind of, while my coffee's making, it takes about 2.5 minutes longer than I would be waiting anyway for my coffee. So that's our earn your coffee portion. The diet has not changed for me. We'll wait and see what tomorrow brings, because usually I try to connect the dots on Tuesday. Uh, it does seem like the last few days I've been maybe 204, 205, but very little change there. It could be at the end of the week I'll be exactly where I was last week. So we'll wait and see. It's been very, very steady there, and so we kind of have to think about, am I at a steady state? And you have to wait a little while, I think, before you get too worried about that. But it made me think, if part of what you're doing here, our main focus here is really health. I mean, the other stuff, yeah, it's important. It's important to me anyway. And I've mentioned before, I don't like to admit it, but I am. I'm kind of vain. And so I like to look good. I don't really like it if I look sloppy or out of shape. And so I do want that. But at the core of it all is health. I mean, I've had actually very significant health problems, and I want to be as healthy as I can, so that the chances of those and other health problems are minimized. And I'm going to say, I don't know that I can prove this. I really don't know that I could prove this. My doctors have said it to me, so I think that it's true. Is in the past, when I've had these very significant health problems, I was very, very fit. I mean, I was very, very fit. And I would work out generally every day, 1 or 2 hours every day, every single day. And so that's one of the things, is my doctors, when I was kind of going through these things, are like, hey, you're recovering faster than most people. And they attributed that to my health, to having spent time to be in good shape. So that is part of it too, is I think that by really trying to optimize my health and really getting fit and all those things again, it also helps you if you do encounter some of these health issues that were just unforeseeable. So it is important. So now, I don't know. Maybe your main thing is you want to lose weight. So like for me, I do want to lose weight. Although I'm right now, I'm not like super heavy. In fact, I'm right in what they call the normal range. I think I should be maybe another 10 pounds or so, possibly 15, but probably 10 pounds would probably be just about ideal. Um, so really, it's not really so much about the weight as it is, I really wanted to get my A1C down. Because during these last cancer treatments, and I've mentioned this in some of the previous videos, I became pre-diabetic. I wasn't working out, I was gaining weight, and so I got up into the pre-diabetic range, and I want to, more than anything, that's probably the biggest goal I have, is I want to get out of that pre-diabetic range. The other stuff I want to, I mean, I do, but the big thing is I want to get out of that pre-diabetic range. This is what we're doing. We're doing, we're trying to get stronger. We're trying to eliminate sugar, and again, that's because of the pre-diabetic. It's nice to lose the weight. I mean, it's good for us to lose weight. Let's face it, it is. But the big thing is, I really want that A1C to come down. I was giving this a little bit of thought, and so for me, I've been almost a full week. I have to look back in my calendar to see exactly when I hit 205. But I've almost a full week without really, at least so far, any noticeable decrease in weight. And I think it's a little too early to know for sure that we've hit a plateau, but it's possible we have. And if that's the case, I don't know what other things you might be doing, but you can add some cardio in to try to lose some of that weight. Now, here's a little secret. I don't know where you are. If you have never done any kind of real cardio or anything like that, I would tell you, don't just go out and start running. Don't go do that. You can do other things. So some of these things, you can see a lot of runners who are pretty darn good runners. And you look at them and you can't believe that they're runners, because they are not like skinny people. And it's like, how in the world do they do that? How can someone run like that and look like they're that out of shape? And so here's the thing, is that one of the things, if you look at some of the, like especially the bodybuilders, and I don't mean just guys going to the gym, I mean the guys who are really serious about it, who are really, they're really, really serious about it. You don't see them running. You don't see them running. You don't see them biking. You don't see them swimming. They're not going to do a high intensity cardio workout, because they're trying to preserve their muscle mass, and they really they want to selectively lose fat, but not muscle mass. And one of the things about the high intensity cardio is it can cause you to lose weight. And of course, I said that about the people who are pretty good runners, and you look at them and like, oh my gosh. But I can't deny that the people like the elite runners, the people who are running like, 6-minute miles and less, those guys, obviously they're very, very skinny, and they have almost no body fat, but they also usually have very little muscle mass too. And so the guys who are doing the bodybuilding, they don't want to lose their muscle mass. So like high intensity cardio, you don't see them do that very much. Most of those guys don't do it. But you do see them walking. You'll see them walking, and some of them may do a slow jog or something along those lines, but they don't do the high intensity stuff. Now, I think there's some benefit to some of the high intensity stuff, but I guess what I'm getting around to is you don't have to get out and you don't have to run like crazy, and you don't have to like bike like crazy. You don't have to swim like crazy or any of those things to start having an effect. There's a lot of research. There's a lot of, people who've been doing this a long time who all say that, hey, for fat loss, it's probably better. The cardio is good, but low intensity. Do like long walks. And in fact, there's some apps really where you can even put it in and say, hey, here's my current weight, here's my desired weight. Can you give me a program? How far do I need to walk? And give you kind of a program of increasing all the way to, and even I think an estimated time frame to lose a certain amount of weight. So it may be that the best thing you can do if you're at a plateau and you just can't seem to, lose any more weight, maybe it's time to add in a little cardio. And I would say if your main goal is losing weight, trying to lose fat, I would say start with a low intensity cardio. You know, don't go out right away and start running. Now, if that's your goal, that's a whole different story. If your goal isn't really to try to, it's not primarily to lose weight, it's because you've always wanted to run, or you've always wanted to bike, or you've always wanted to swim, or all those things, that's a whole different story. And there are ways that you can do that too, where you start out at a beginner's level. But if you're, concerned because you're trying to lose fat and you just seem to hit a plateau, I'd say, go out and walk, and add a 15-minute walk, 20-minute walk. It would probably be really good for you anyway. We mentioned before the benefits of just being outside, just having sunlight. And I'm preaching, to myself there as well, because I've gotten to be quite a hermit since COVID. I don't go out very much, and but it's good for us. We should get outside if possible every day. We should have some sunlight and some sun every day, and it would be better for us. So I have this last week, because we've had much nicer weather. We've had a few days in the 70s and a couple of days in the upper 60s. So I was able to go outside, I think it was maybe 4 days, and doing fairly short walk, about a half mile, probably around a half mile all of those days. So that's something you might do, and you might really enjoy it too. Get outside, kind of enjoy it, and have a little downtime. So I guess that wraps us up for day 27 of 50 Days of Fitness. And tomorrow we hit the 4-week mark, and it's a weigh-in day. So we'll see if I'm still at 5 pounds, 205 tomorrow. So have a great day, everybody. Bye.